We're live. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad messed that up. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
There
Little
was
bit.
an attempt. There was an attempt.
Yes, there was an attempt. Hello, people. Sorry, I fucked up at my Emerson, Lake and Palmer. That's what I get for being a fan of the progressive rock.
I don't
Anyways,
think you fucked up. It was just, it was okay until it wasn't. It was acceptable.
all right. Anyways, Happy New Year. This begins one more year of awful goodness. How we all doing?
Yes.
Oh, we got Meg in the chat.
What's
What's
up,
up,
Omega?
buddy? Remember, where is it? Get down. Remember, Vegano.
Vegano for Pope.
Yep, Vegano for Pope.
Vegano for Pope.
We will be talking about another fallen Pope.
Which was not as cool as Vegano, but he was still pretty cool.
And what else do we have for you? We have more deaths. We have Andrew Tate and whatever happened to Kanye West. Anyways, joining me tonight is you can smell him before you can see him. Ebi Canales.
Hola.
So, how was your holiday season?
It was fine. I got to hang out with like my only two friends that I have in Spain. Then I had dinner with my parents, with whom else, and then I just like went out for drinks and for a cigar. Man, I smoked a cigar yesterday. It was so fucking good.
Uh, Mine was, well, let's see. Last night I took the little Mew for a bath. And then earlier I bought her a new collar. And as you can hear, there's still yahoos shooting fireworks outside.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same here. I guess it's a Spanish-speaking thing.
Perhaps. But yes, the Mew is freshly bathed. And she has a new collar for the new year because her other one was getting gross and disgusting.
As it happens with everything related to a Mew.
And she is quite pleased with it right now. She is taking a snooze. Hopefully, she won't awaken and sabotage our transmission.
Hopefully, but you never know with those people. You
Yeah,
can't, you can't really trust them. They're so shifty.
but yeah. And then what else happened on my New Year's Eve? Oh, I got like a little bottle of black rum and a bottle of Coke and
Nice.
drank a couple Cuba Libres.
That is also my poison of choice.
Yeah. So that was my New Year's Eve. Wasn't exciting. I mean, yes, I wish I could have went out and partied, but I'm starting to get old. Parties don't do anything anymore.
Yeah, it's like it lost its appeal to me like a few years ago. It's like, what's the point? I just want to sit down with a drink and a cigar and just like have good conversation.
I mean, I would also do that too, but the place where I would go, which is this bar called Santo Boludo, it's like far away from me, and even if I was to get a little intoxicated, it's still quite the trip that I don't wish to take in that area at that time of the day.
Understandable, understandable.
Anyways, so Usually we'll be joined by more people, but they have prior commitments, but they might show up later. So just listen to me and the dulcet tones of El Canales.
El Canales.
Yes. But anyways, if you're wondering about, no, okay, we'll forget about that. Anyways, let's just get right into it. So, starting with, oh, I hate this. I hate.
Well, I hate everything, so very cool.
No, no. I just okay. I just hate the. I just hate the list format that they have for the tabs.
Hmm.
Begone, you foul registry sign.
Be gone from
I
me.
said begone. I said be off. Ah, oh, fine. Do I have to find
God damn
another?
it.
God, find another fucking. Find another one. Here, this will do. Brazilian football icon Pele has died at the age of 82.
F.
His
Pele. F.
daughter Kelly, his daughter Kelly Nascimento paid tribute to your father. We we are thanks to you. We love you. Rest in peace. So possibly, well, the goat. I reluctantly admit because I'm a huge Maradona fan. But yes, the legit goat of football has sadly passed away.
Credit where credit is due. The guy was a
So,
legend, and he was also an actor. He was in. Shit, what was the title in English? I know it's the La Gran Evasión in Spanish. The one with Stallone. What's the La Gran
oh,
Evasión?
it's a
Pasión Victoria,
victory.
Pasión Victoria. Yeah, 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 that one. Yeah, he was also an actor. Well, we will miss him because he was a legend.
Yeah. hmm He died. He's one of the greatest footballers of all time. He died at. He had been at the Albert Einstein Israelite Hospital in Sao Paulo since 29th December because he had cardiac and renal dysfunction and also had been battling colon cancer since September 2021. As you know, his original name is Edson Arantes do
Oh, so
Nascimento,
that's Mendo.
and he'd
Yeah,
been playing for. Yep, do Nascimento began playing for Santos at the age of 15, and the Brazilian national team a year later, bursting onto the world football scene as a 17-year-old in the 1958 World Cup. And then he died on Thursday due to multiple organ failure. And here's some pictures of him. Here's him winning the 1970 World Cup in Mexico. Okay. Uh Gary Lineker was one of those hailing Pele's legacy. He's another English football
hmm,
guy. And then the England World Cup winner Sir Geoff Hurst said Pele remains the greatest of all time. Here's the president of FIFA. The current GOAT, Lionel Messi, um, widely considered to be one of the greatest of all time, shared his own simple reflection: rest in peace. Yep. His glittering 20-year career from 1957 to 1977 saw him score 757 goals in 831 games, although Santos claims his tally was closer to 1,000.
well,
Yeah.
soccer guys love to exaggerate for effect, but he was probably right about it.
hmm
Pretty good at his job.
So, R.I.P. R.I.P. Pele, which also, unfortunately, I didn't have time to bring it over to uh over on my computer. But can Alice remember when I did the last year I did White Vember,
Mm-hmm.
and I
How could
drew
I
that
forget?
picture of Pele as a white guy.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, White Vember was started by a black guy who I kind of know named Poe on Twitter, which was made in response to the hashtag Blacktober, where people take like established characters and make them black, which is kind of pointless. But anyways, hey, who do we have? It's Paulo Costa from Portugal, and he says, "Marry new beef jerky, my Latinxes."
Yes, Latinx. Nine, los Latinxes. Latinxes. God, I hate the fucking
No,
people.
no, guess what? I just learned a new word that we can call these people who insist on using Latinx.
Alright.
No sabos.
No sabos. Is that like retard? It
Okay,
should be retard.
so the explanation I got is no sabos are like the purportedly Latino descended kids who barely know Spanish
Hmm.
and think they have the moral authority on anything
Right.
remotely Latino. And no sabo comes from like the verb saber.
No sabo. Okay, no, that's a no.
It's regular. So when you say I don't know, it's no sé, but
Mm-hmm.
the no sabos think sabo follows the like
No,
a normal.
no sabo is a purposefully wrongful way of saying I don't know. No sé in Spanish. So it's kind of
Yep,
like calling them retards, with which I'm extremely okay with.
yep. So now I have a new on people thinking they have the moral superiority. Yeah, I don't like when people have the moral superiority versus I mean, who are you more inclined to listen to? Someone who like did a quick Google search or someone who actually has lived in a Hispanic country, a Latin American country for like
Yep.
uh, 3 years now.
Or for his entire life, like me.
Right, right. So R.A.P. Pele.
R.I.P. Pelé, goat of soccer or football for you, American imperialist pigs.
Fuck you entitled su- moral superiors who think that Argentina shouldn't have won because uh we we we're mostly white.
Yeah, what's with that? Like, I can't win a soccer game because I'm white. What the fuck?
Uh, and apparently it must be our channel is talking to itself because someone's gonna be there in a moment. But anyways, let's move on to who else who died. Wait. There we go. Benedict the 16th, the first pope to resign in 600 years, dies at 95. He is
We
also
will miss.
known as the second he is also known as the world's greatest no, the second best Emperor Palpatine cosplayer.
Something dark side.
Yes, good. Let the hate flow through you.
Do it.
Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, the shy German theologian who tried to reawaken Christianity in a secularized Europe, but will forever be remembered as the first pontiff in 600 years to resign from the job, died Saturday. He was 95. And what a good effort you did, but Global Homo is trashing everything, including the false Pope, Pope Francis.
Yeah, it's
No,
almost fun to see them eat each other. Like, the revolution always devours its children, and they always attack each other first because they always attack the ones who are closer to them.
mhm.
It's the way of the prorg.
Indeed, the prorg is nothing but a fat, blue-haired Ouroboros,
Hmm.
constantly eating itself. So he stunned the world on February 11th of 2013 when he announced in his soft-spoken Latin that he would no longer have the strength to run the Catholic Church that he steered for 8 years through scandal and indifference. And his dramatic decision paved the way for the conclave that elected the false Pope Francis as his successor. And as you know, they lived side by side in the Vatican gardens, with which was an unprecedented arrangement. And now Francis will celebrate Benedict's funeral mass on Thursday, the first in the modern age that a current pope will eulogize a retired one. Blah blah. The false pope praised Benedict's kindness Saturday and thanked him for his testimony of faith and prayer, especially in these final years of retired life. Let's see. The former Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger never wanted to be pope, planning at age 78 to spend his final years riding in the peace and quiet of his native Bavaria. Instead, he was forced to follow the footsteps of the beloved Saint John Paul II and run the church through the fallout of the clerical sexual abuse and then a second scandal that erupted when his own butler stole his personal papers and gave them to a journalist. Wow, what a dick. That's the butler, not the pope.
Yeah, no, no. The Pope was. I mean, all things considered, he was pretty based. If you read what his intentions were, and I'm reasonably sure that he resigned because he realized how rotten everything was, and like he didn't want no part of it. That's what happened in my head canon, anyways.
I
Yeah, I
don't
would like to believe there.
I don't know what to make of Benedict, and I never really have. But what I do know is that he was head of the Inquisition. That's like not even a joke.
Like
Oh,
he
come
was
on.
he was sold for like.
Paulo, please don't kick a dead man, former nonsense chief.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he did participate in covering stuff up. You would think, as head of the Inquisition, he'd have pyres lit.
So
I
please,
don't.
Who
I
please,
don't.
knows?
please elaborate. Please elaborate on the whole Inquisition thing because I didn't know anything about it.
The what before he was Pope, he was head of the department that used to be the Inquisition. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh shit.
But when the Inquisition ended, that department didn't go away. They rebranded it and repurposed it.
Cool.
That's pretty neat.
So, and the Catholic Church, it's all intrigue and politics. It's the dirty politics from the old days, man. Still going strong. Who knows what the hell has been going on behind the scenes in that organization for the last 50 years?
Well, um, uh, crap! I just lost my train of thought. Well, I got nothing.
Well,
It'll
I was
come
just
to
gonna say that
me.
I find it despicable how the prog are now trashing this man now he's dead. They it's
Yeah,
same shit as every day, like same shit different day. They never
yeah,
talked about this guy. They know nothing about it. They just parrot the trending talking points about it. That's it.
When he
Oh,
was
he was. Yeah,
when he
sorry, go
was
ahead.
active as Pope, there was criticism, that was like, uh, should this guy be shutting stuff down? But that ended a long time ago, sort of. So I don't know. I don't know. I've never really known what to make of Benedict, but I do think he got ousted so Francis could take over.
possibly. And let's see. Yes, I was also going to say on the topic of the prorgs being prorgs. The only thing they like to focus on is the fact that he was in the Hitler Youth when, if you actually read, he was conscripted into the Hitler Youth. Like he had
Newsflash:
no choice.
you had to be in the Hitler Youth. You had no choice.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
like
like
being in
anyone
the
had a
Spanish
choice.
army in the 1980s. You had to be in the Spanish army. You were conscripted. You didn't have a choice. Stupid
Yeah.
idiots.
And And he even said that he like skipped like all the meetings, like he barely attended any meetings, and I think his dad got like taken in once, and then the other, it's kind of sad, but he had like a Down syndrome cousin that was the same age of him as him that was taken away
Mm,
and killed in the
yeah.
T4.
Don't. He was done the thing that Nazis did to like Down syndrome kids, which is pretty much the same thing that the Norsemen, Nordic socialist countries do to Down syndrome kids nowadays. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
if it was. Yeah, I don't know if it was Finland or Iceland or one of these countries managed to reduce the. And I think the news was something like they managed to end the Down syndrome problem because they actually aborted all the kids with Down syndrome.
I think it's Iceland.
Probably.
If Finland were to do that, they'd lose 90% of their population. Have you seen
Ew.
them?
Yeah.
Ow!
I don't really like to bring up my dislike of the Down syndrome people because it's a personal thing.
But I don't want to kill them.
Wait, you dislike Down syndrome people?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Um
You don't have to tell us if you don't want to.
Yeah, you don't have to.
We're just
it's
curious.
I'm just gonna say that they just make me very uncomfortable, and I will go out of my way to avoid them at all cost.
Well, I mean, they need minders. They need handlers. They're children. Most of them. There are some people with a very light case of it that are fine, that don't experience much developmental disability, but the vast majority of them, like 90% or more, they're essentially children for life. Um,
Yeah, except their bodies grow and they have
yeah,
like grown up urges, if you know what I mean. But they still
yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
That's definitely weird. There's that weird thing that happened a little while ago that kind of quietly got swept under the rug, where they were trying to do like, I don't even fucking like, a Down syndrome is sexy or something like that, like they did with vitiligo on the
Oh, God.
magazine covers. They tried to do that with Down syndrome.
No,
That's weird.
look. But all the love to Down syndrome kids, but oh shit, I think we scared yes with the talk of like Down syndrome kids.
I
I was
mean,
just gonna say all my love and respect to them. They have all the rights in the world because they're human beings, but that's not fucking sexy. Okay, it's
yeah, no,
stop,
they're
stop, stop.
they're disabled people. They're
Yeah.
children in adult bodies, and they should be treated like
It's
that.
almost as if we live in a culture in which you have to find something sexually desirable as a way of like respecting it. Like
Like
you
about
have to,
everything.
yeah, you have to find trans people sexually desirable. You have to find everything sexually. Dude, I don't want to fuck everything. Just because I don't want to fuck something or someone doesn't mean I don't respect their rights as a human being. You know,
You
stop
know,
that.
I
Yeah.
realized. So I, I think obese people are gross. Like there's a certain point, up to a certain point, extra weight I'm fine with, but past a certain point, it's like that's absolutely disgusting. And when it looks like you're wrapped in like 200 pounds of chewed bubble gum, you're well into disgusting.
Yeah, if you
And
look like you're made of soup, like you're soup of
yeah,
yourself, that's when you need
Yeah.
to like rethink your
I
life.
I have a friend whose wife is like that, and we ended up in some conflict. And she would always do these like "aren't I sexy" things,
Yeah,
and I'd
Oh.
very carefully back away without saying much, if anything at all. Because I didn't want to. I didn't want to upset her. I didn't want to upset her friend. But it's like, no, man, don't. A, you're my friend's wife, and B, you're fucking gross. And dangling like that isn't going to get a positive response from me. So stop it. And I wonder how much she pissed and moaned because I wasn't giving her the tenchies and Val she wanted for being something she's not.
I'm, I don't just then I think of a tall snoosoon lady.
Yeah, that last one you sent me was a little too much. But
Yeah, you just sound like you're gagging, man. It was a gag.
sorry.
What you don't want to what you don't want a 7 foot tall She-Hulk?
Oh no, that lady was too much. That lady was too much.
What are you afraid that she's gonna like pick you up and carry you around?
I'm afraid she's got a dick the size of my forearm.
I think I think I think a Gina Carano or a Ronda Rousey. That's a perfect balance.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
All right. So R.I.P. the Pope,
All
Pope
right,
Benedict.
it was pretty good,
Let's
but not as good as Vigano. Vigano for Pope.
begin for
Yeah,
Pope.
definitely for Pope.
Good. Good. Yep. Vigano. I'm gonna shorten for.
Because
Pope.
what's next? What's next on the menu?
All
We're gonna
right.
we're gonna
Did
talk
we
about.
talk about Andrew Tate yet?
We need to talk about Tate.
Guess who else? No, we're getting there, but
Okay.
guess who else just up and fucking died before the year went out?
Barbara Wawa.
Baba Wawas.
Rubber, rubber.
Yep. Dead at 93. That old.
I'm Spanish,
She was
so
good,
I don't.
but
I have no feelings towards this woman one way or another.
I can't
She was
believe she was 93. I mean, I don't
Barbara
really care,
Walters,
but wow.
one of the biggest and most recognized news anchors in the world, has died. She died in her home, surrounded by her loved ones, and she had been in declining health for several years. She's most famous for reporting on John F. Kennedy's assassination, and then she was her and this guy Hugh Downs started the 2020 on
Yeah.
ABC.
Which now you think back,
Then
like, oh, that whole show was fucking propaganda, wasn't it?
kind of she was also famous for interviews, like she interviewed Senor Purebeard, Fidel Castro, and Katharine Hepburn, Monica Lewinsky, Michael Jackson, the Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, Jiang Zemin, who also died, Vladimir Putin, Mike Tyson, Henry Kissinger, and Hugo Chavez, and so many people, along with every single American president. So here's the one with Fidel Castro.
Is that the
Here's the one with
interview
Monica Lewinsky.
in which Fidel says that he doesn't believe in personal freedom the same way Americans do, or something like that, or freedom of press? I think.
I don't know. Maybe we can take a look at that after the show, because YouTube and their copyright.
Mhm.
But yeah, but yeah. Hey, remember the joke about, was Bill Clinton the first black president?
Yes.
I mean, if you were in his position and you saw this, would you?
Monica Lewinsky?
Yeah.
Is that from around when it happened?
Yeah.
No, but she
Nah,
probably falls within Bill's range.
that's what I was gonna say. I don't think Bill is that picky, knowing what we know about him.
I can see Bill liking himself some chunker milkers.
Let's see. And then she also starred on The View, and her final interview was with of course Donald Trump in 2015. And then let's see. She's dated high profile people like Roy Cohn.
Okay,
I have no idea who the fuck Roy Cohn is.
Roy
neither do
Cohn
I.
was like, okay, Roy Cohn was like the top guy for all the mafia, the top lawyer for the mafia.
Oh, okay.
Oh. But am I not surprised that she didn't just date a taxi driver or a construction worker from Brooklyn?
And then she dated Alan Greenspan, of all people.
Explain.
Alan Greenspan was the Federal Reserve Chairman of the
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, hi,
And
aren't we, lady?
and Canellis, I hope you know he does not pass the early life check.
Oh. Oh.
Dated two senators, Senator John Warner and Senator Edward Brooke, and a Pulitzer Prize winner Robert Neal Butler. And then I also remember that there's an interview where she's interviewing Corey Feldman, who's outing like all the pedo shit
Yep.
in Hollywood, and she's like, "Oh, you can't say anything about that. You're ruining an entire thing." And Mega's going to
Sure hope so.
join us soon.
Girl, I can
Really makes you
girl.
go, that she was so quick to like knock Feldman's concerns out. And I have issues with Corey Feldman because it seems like he starts talking when he needs money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never
He
really
never
drops.
Yeah.
anything. Just
It's
like
like
it's just
drop
like
the names.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
it's like he's like perpetually baiting us
mhm.
And
just
that's
for
been
money and
my
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my position
Oh.
the whole time has been drop the data or fuck off.
Yep.
I'm really
Paulo
sick of it.
Costa says, "Let's do a prisoner exchange with Death. Death can have Barbara Walters if we can get Betty White back."
I'm not against that.
Yeah, but I don't know if Betty White would like to be in this world.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand if she doesn't want to come back.
How about along with Betty White, can we get like all the Golden Girls back?
Can I have H.P. Lovecraft back? I want to hang out with him. Just is when somebody asks me what dead celebrity I would like to hang out with, H.P. Lovecraft is always the first one. It's I would just
Understandable.
want to talk to the guy.
Yeah, and they can also bring back his cat,
Yes,
his little black cat.
African
that
American
cat.
person. That cat was awesome.
His
It's
little
it,
melanin enriched cat.
it's funny how people cling to that. It's like, bro, have you listened to a rap record? Nobody like
But you know my theory about why the prog hate HBL so much, right? It's
because they
because
want his shit, and that's the thing they have to take him down with.
yes, yeah. But I think
Yeah, like
it all originated on Warren Ellis's message boards in the late 1990s, early 2000s, because there's this authority. What is it? The authority planetary crossover. You know, the authority is a comic book that Warren Ellis used to write. Planetary is
Yeah.
another one, and he made the crossover. And in it, I don't think it was H.P. Lovecraft. It was like a stand-in for H.P. Lovecraft. He did like the most racist, like absurdly racist things, and I think it was just like for effect. Like nobody really thought that HPL was that much of a racist, but somehow,
no,
oh hey, hot
no
photos of
hot
your
no
sister.
hot photos of my sister, please.
Is it your sister or my sister? But anyway, I think yeah,
Maybe it's
that's
maybe it's Paulo's sister.
Paulo's sister. Is that your sister,
That's,
Paulo?
hang on, I'll tell you about that.
Okay,
I'll tell
yeah,
you.
that's all I was gonna say. Like, I think Warren Ellis just like made that as a joke, and the prog that infested these message boards like took it literally and ran with it.
Hmm. I would also gonna say if the prog took over Lovecraft, they probably make Cthulhu is some half
No, no,
black
no.
trans
They
lesbian.
actually took over his legacy, and there's this YouTube channel called Arkham Reporter. He's pretty good. I think he's like from Switzerland, and he had like a special episode for like woke HPL literature, and there was this one in which like they portrayed the Innsmouth folk as oppressed,
Oh
as
my
like
god.
they were an oppressed minority persecuted by the FBI. Like they just wanted to live in peace and coexist with humanity.
Well, they were. I mean, they were oppressed, but they did not want to live in peace.
No, they were going to bring shoggoths to the mainland, which are like they're like the thing, like John Carpenter's the thing, but like much bigger and indestructible. They're basically living bioweapons. They
Pretty
they wanted
much.
to exterminate mankind.
But anyways, the University of Idaho murders, 28-year-old suspect arrested.
Oh yeah, I heard that
Mm.
this happened, but I don't know anything about the guy. What do you know? Tell me, please.
I have no idea. Okay, what I've heard is that he was like a criminal student, like a criminal psychology.
Hmm.
Maybe it will say it down there, but can you guess his ethnicity?
He looks pretty like Scando, some sort of Germanic, maybe,
He looks like Ben
maybe
Stiller. That's the
French.
one I saw.
No. My joke when I saw this on Reddit was, "Oh my god, Pablo Schreiber."
Oh shit!
Oh, is that what's his last name? It's
It's I think it's
Kohlberger.
Leaf Schreiber's little brother. That's
He's the guy who
Pablo
plays Master
Schreiber.
Chief in the
What?
Halo show.
No.
Yep,
What's the murderer's name?
Brian Koberger.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's skip down. So, police say they've cracked the case in the quadruple murder at the University of Idaho because a suspect is now in custody. A 28-year-old man has been taken in custody by the FBI and police outside Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Whoa.
Hmm. The suspect is a college student but does not attend the University of Idaho, this according to news sources. Let's see. ABC News in Philadelphia said a SWAT team entered the place where the suspect was staying and took him into custody. His name is Brian Koberger, and he is a suspect, and he's being held for extradition in a homicide investigation for first-degree murder. And these are the 4 kids that got killed. And
So
then
he
here
had
he
no
is,
connection to these
graduation.
people whatsoever.
No, let's see. Yes. He in this video, he's getting his master's degree in criminal justice at DeSales University, and he's currently enrolled in a PhD program at Washington State University. But yeah, they were stabbed to death on November 13th. These 4 kids. Then I think, let's see. He spoke to the cops after the arrest, and according to this Brian Enton, he said that Koberger had a quiet, blank stare.
He has that
What?
weird look. Like if you remember, did you guys ever see any documentary stuff on Mark Collins Rector?
No.
Nope.
Brian Singer's touchy buddy who
Oh,
Okay.
I've seen photos of him. I just didn't remember his name.
he kind of has a similar affectation, but maybe with less, more muted expression. So,
Mhm.
what is his motivation?
I don't know. It says here that, well, here they seized a white Hyundai Elantra because this was the same car that was seen speeding away by a gas station near the murder house. Let's see. Here they are searching his apartment. They also found his DNA at the murder scene. And here's a little bit update. Suspected killer more animated in class after allegedly killing the students. And here he is again.
Yeah, he does have a weird stare. I don't know.
Yeah, he does. Well, he got his thrill.
He
Didn't
kind
have to
of
go to Blueberry Hill to get it.
he kind of reminds me of a cross between Dennis from It's Always Sunny in
Yeah.
Philadelphia and Pablo Schreiber from the episode of Law and Order SVU where he plays that serial killer. Yeah, he seemed to be in good spirits and more animated in class after his allegedly did his dirty work, according to a
Jesus.
classmate.
Fuck, man.
He was seeking a PhD in criminology and was enrolled in the graduate program. He had recently graduated from DeSales University in Pennsylvania with a degree in criminal justice. Let's see. BK Norton quickly noticed some red flags that weren't obvious early in the semester after the brutal slangs came to night. Brian seemed more upbeat and willing to carry a conversation, Norton wrote in an email. They also added that he had a keen interest in forensic psychology. He had a quiet but intense demeanor, which made those around him feel uncomfortable. He also passed certain remarks that it clear that he was anti LGBT. What the fuck barbecue?
Had to throw that in
Yep.
because that has something to do with the four heterosexual people that he murdered.
Hmm. He sort of creeped people up because he stared and didn't talk much, but when he did it, was very intelligent and needed everyone to know that he was smart. Oh yeah, he
Well,
was totally he's totally a Dennis Reynolds.
that sounds more like a leftist to me.
Yep. Yep. He's currently being held without bail in Pennsylvania. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, they got him. Let's
It's pretty
let's hope.
crazy.
Yeah. So let's hope that he got his the four kids can get their justice.
What do you think his motivation was?
I don't know, with all his like background, I would like to say maybe he was trying to be like the perfect criminal. Like if he knew everything about like studying criminal psychology and getting all the degrees, maybe he could find a way to like get away with murder.
Yeah, but he would have murdered a single person, not four of them. That's kind of messy and like
You,
weird.
so you think it? You think he's a thrill killer?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know what to make of it. From what I've heard, the murder was pretty brutal, and took a lot of cleaning up. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to. I mean, the closest killer I can think of the same way was Israel Keys.
Is that the train guy?
No, Israel Keys was like a Christian identitarian or something like that, and he killed like and the one murder I remember is that he killed a girl. And when they asked him to like send like proof that she was still alive, he literally like glued her eyes open and then held up like a newspaper showing the date to prove that she was like still alive, but she was already
Jesus,
dead. Yeah.
that's some crazy shit. I sort of vaguely remember that dude.
Yeah, unfortunately he died in prison and they suspect that he has more victims out there, but since he offed himself, it's not going anywhere. Anyways, the story you've all been waiting for. Andrew Tate arrested on human trafficking allegations in Romania. Uh, I don't know what to think of Andrew Tate. All I know is that he purports himself to be an alpha male and he was an MMA fighter.
A kickboxer, actually. He was never into MMA, I think.
Kickboxer.
Yeah.
So what I know about Andrew Tate is that he was a kickboxer and that he was successful as a kickboxer. That he's very wealthy, but not from kickboxing. That
Nobody
one of
gets
the
wealthy from kickboxing, let me tell you.
yeah, that the one of the businesses that made him wealthy was a webcam business. No one's ever said what site it is. Like there are a bunch of like not that I want to go like I really want to know about the business. I want to understand it because people are saying that he was a pimp and that he was a human trafficker and that he was employing prostitutes. But if he was employing women to do cam shows, that's not prostitution. That's pornography. They're two different things. You need physical contact for prostitution. I'm
But
not
they
going to
were
buy
also saying that he was taking like their earnings,
Well,
thus
so
making him a pimp.
not if it's pornography.
If it's
If it,
pornography, you're just the producer.
yeah,
That's
it's essentially, think of it from the old phone sex businesses where the phone sex lines would have multiple employees that would work the phone lines, and the charges went to the business that then paid out the employee. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm
No,
not
yeah.
defending participating in it. I am insisting
I mean,
on
it is
clarity and description.
it is technically what a pimp does, except it's not prostitution because the girls don't have actual physical contact with the clients.
Right.
So it is not
Um,
technically prostitution, and he's technically not a pimp.
is it slimy? Sure. But that doesn't mean it's illegal, and that doesn't mean
Mm.
it's human trafficking. And if they knowingly entered the contracts and were not forced to stay in the contracts, then it's distasteful but not slimy.
What do you have to say, Bean Boy?
Hey there.
Hola.
¿Cómo está usted?
Pretty damn good.
Happy New Year, by the way. Feliz Año
Oh,
Nuevo.
Yeah,
yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Or Feliz
whole-
Ano Huevo.
The whole,
Oh shit! Oh shit! It's a joke.
Tate is or was also selling like one of those Jack Murphy style Manhood Academy things, which I think is retarded, and I wouldn't suggest anyone spend money on them. I don't know what he's selling behind his paywalls, but it probably isn't worth whatever people are paying for it.
Well, that's what happens when you get rid of positive male figures in society.
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Want someone to learn from how to be a man.
There are a couple of things that are fascinating to me. One, people insisting that a pizza box tipped his location off to Romanian authorities. Everyone's saying that is fucking retarded. Everyone's saying that needs to give their
Actually,
phones and computers away.
the person who came up with the news, I don't know who that was. She was a journalist. She admitted to making it all up.
Yeah, of
Oh.
course.
I can't remember
I
the name, but
understand.
it's so bullshit.
If you're going to drop it as a sick burn, that's fine. That's one thing. Sick burns don't have to be accurate. But if you're trying to say that that's literally how it happened, no, it isn't. Andrew Tate was in Romania, which means he took a fucking plane into Romania, which means that when he got off that plane in Romania, they tracked him from that moment on. He owns a house in Romania, and he was using the internet to upload copious amounts of media in Romania, which means that the authorities had his IP, therefore physical location, the entire time he was there.
But that's
But-
reality.
But
And
you would
reality
like
isn't
to,
cool.
but you would like to think that maybe they didn't act until they actually saw him.
No,
Maybe they knew, but they
that's
were.
nonsense. That's nonsense. And the thing is this: let's say that he was human trafficking in Romania. How it would have worked is this: he would have been paying off Romanian authorities all this time, and they would have been gladly taking the money because that's how Romania works. There's a reason why he was suddenly picked up,
Because
and
he
it happens
dared.
to. Yeah.
As I was gonna say, because he dared to pull one over on. How dare you! How dare you, Greta Thunberg!
I mean, he didn't even pull one over on her. He just said mean stuff to her in front of thousands of people who agreed with him. There were thousands of people agreeing with her too, but she's a fucking globalist oligarch. She is like that. The new royalty are these globalist oligarchs, of which she is one. And you are not allowed to offend them. That is
Well-
why he was picked up.
She's a fucking puppet of these oligarchs.
Yeah, she's a little global homo puppet.
As I said on a meme that I made recently, what fascinates me is that there's so many people clapping like seals at the idea that this little girl is able to weaponize a
Yeah.
police force paid for by every European citizen. Because remember, the European Union now pays for everything else in the European Union. It's a collective thing. So we Spaniards also paid for the Romanian police, and now this little girl can weaponize the Romanian police to arrest people who irk her on social media, and people are fine with that.
I'm seeing a whole lot of people who ought to fucking know better applauding this, especially people who are very much like, people that make 30 videos bashing women or criticizing women. I'm fine
Mhm.
with that. I have a lot of criticism to offer. They're suddenly pointing their finger at this guy and being like, oh no, I'm not the misogynist you say I am. Andrew Tate is the misogynist that you say I am. So you get him. You get him. Haha, I'm not a misogynist now, right? I'm a good boy, right? They're totally fucking throwing this guy under the bus. And I don't know if he's guilty of any of this stuff, but there are people totally throwing this fucking guy under the bus so that they can look like they're the good guys. It's the same shit people pulled with George Floyd. Remember that? It's the same dynamic. It's a scapegoating ritual.
Well, I've seen that
Yep.
doing, like, I've seen men do that around women to other men, like, since I was a little boy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
trying to, I'm the good one. Like, whenever a female friend of mine broke up with her boyfriend, they were like, he's a fucking idiot. He doesn't deserve you. I'm the cool one. Maybe you
The
should
nerds
find somebody that's, yeah, yeah,
the nerds that dig on other nerds in hopes that
yeah.
Muffy and Buffy will be their bestie.
It's fucking, dude, I hate nerds.
Same thing.
Fucking hate nerds, dude. And I thought I was a nerd, and I discovered, no, I'm not really a nerd. They are fucking nerds. Like,
Really
it's kind of like
frustrating.
Zach.
and
When
annoying.
when Zach discovered that he wasn't really a conservative until he met like actual conservatives. I thought I was a nerd until I met actual nerds. Oh, so that's a nerd. Okay, I fucking hate them.
Well, all I know is that I didn't experience that when I break up. I didn't have a ton of simps going after me, which
Well,
is
they're
probably
lost.
a good thing.
Yeah, because Sims are really they're just desperate. They will fuck you, but they will fuck anything. They're just trying to find the right opportunity. That's you don't want them around you.
I mean, but to be honest, Canellis, you are my you are my simp king.
I will I will
The
admit
only
that I sim for you the same way I admit I'm slightly gay for Kurt Russell or Michael Madsen. But
what?
those
Mm.
are exceptions. Those are exceptions. It's not a thing that I usually do. Yeah, Michael Madsen, like he always makes me gay, slightly gay on Reservoir Dogs. He looks great, dude.
Which, by the
He
way,
makes you even more gay than you normally are. Anyways, controversial and provocative Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan have been arrested in Romania on human sex trafficking allegations. They report that the two have been brought in on kidnapping and rape charges, which, okay, so I know a little bit about this. So apparently, it was like maybe a year or two ago where this chick, she goes to the US embassy by saying, no, I think there was a missing report out for a girl who then went
You're
to the US embassy and said that she was fine, but she was also like living or working with Andrew Tate.
so here's the story that I heard. And so do you guys know who Fresh and Fit are?
No.
They're kind of like, they do a show in Miami. They're like dude bro type. And I'm not saying that insultingly. I'm just saying as a shorthand. They're like dude bro, like stocks and bitches type podcasters. They're funny. Fit is a former federal agent who specialized in human trafficking cases.
Ooh.
And he has a YouTube channel called Fed at 1911, I think. Really, really good content. He goes over like serial killer documentaries and uses his expertise as a former federal agent to sort of break it down for you. So this guy was an agent on human trafficking cases, and he is friends with Andrew Tate. And he was, I think, he and his buddy, I think, were at the party where this all happened. And what happened is that she went there and smashed, and then her boyfriend called looking for her. You follow what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that now maybe they're just saying this to cover up for their friend. Maybe they don't want to believe it because it's their friend, possibly. But that's the counterpoint to that story, is that it was one of those situations.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, there's the video where from the Romanian news outlet where both him and his brother being led out of the building in handcuffs by police and into a waiting vehicle. He became a huge focus on Twitter earlier this week after he tweeted an environment at, you know, her, that Greta, mocking her
Climate
efforts by
troubling.
listing off his collection of cars. And then Thunberg and all her wisdom was like, yes, please do nudge me. Email me at smalldickenergy at getalife.com. And Twitter went wild.
One, I don't believe for a second that she wrote that because I've seen her talk
Me neither.
live. Yeah, and she can like put two sentences together to sound witty.
My
She
brother
she
told-
can only yeah.
My brother
and-
Chris is smarter than Greta Thunberg.
yeah, she's not funny, she's not witty, she only repeats what she's been given as a script. And two, it's making fun of a guy's dick, well that's part for the course. Making fun of a man's manhood is theoretically not the feminist thing to do because men are allowed to have small dicks and even no dicks at all because men can be women now and shit. But apparently, for a man to have a small penis is a bad thing. Who knew? It's everything kind of confusing. Just saying.
But yeah, apparently here's the picture that allegedly led the cops to him.
Yeah, that's
Absolute
stupid.
bullshit.
That's
Yeah.
stupid. Your
Absolute
pizza?
bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a 0% chance that is what led the cops to him. Now, like I said, it's possible that they were like this is how it works. You pay off the government so that you can do criminal shit, and then when it's convenient for them, they flip on you.
Especially in fucking Romania, especially in
especially in
Soviet
fucking
countries.
Romania. So there's a reason why they chose that day to go after him.
Yeah. But it said, a spokesperson for Tate stated, we cannot provide any details at the moment regarding alleged reports that they have been detained. However, Andrew and Tristan have the utmost respect for the Romanian authorities and will always assist and help in any way they can. So make of that
apparently
what you will.
Guns are very illegal in Romania, just like all of Europe. So there's an exception, and the exception is at a shooting range. So the Tates registered their house as a shooting range.
Nice. Also,
And
Paul Costa says, you has small dick is not Greta, but they did give the 19-year-old social media expert intern to write that.
Yeah, I believe that. I just, it always drives me crazy when people fall for the work. This was a mass compliance exercise. The purpose of it is to get people that otherwise wouldn't to applaud the globalist oligarch. And look at all the people that ought to know better applauding the globalist oligarch. Fucking every time. The psyops work every fucking time.
All I know is that Greta Thunberg is cringe and not based.
I agree.
Do you hear me, Greta? You are cringe and not based.
You are so much cringe that you make people cringe so hard that they heat up the fucking planet and defeat the purpose of your very existence. How's that? You fucking goblin. Have me arrested.
She's just that rich girl who has she doesn't have, she can't read the room. She doesn't have her finger on any of the pulses. She just sort of repeats stuff in hopes that it will make people like her.
And like,
you guys know that her sister is actually a feminist activist, right?
I mean, her whole family are like her mother is too.
I can totally see their parents going, no, sweetie, you can't be a climate activist. We already have one in the family. You gotta choose something else. What's that? You like feminism? Yeah, feminism is fine. But we need to have another kid and have him be like an anti-racist or something. Like the complete set.
No, I just want to know what the thought process is of Greta Thunberg deciding to travel over by boat but still using like a gas motor,
Well,
The thing
I
is,
mean, yeah, go ahead.
gas
no,
powered
sorry.
engines when she could use like sails or maybe gather up a bunch of melanin enriched
Dude,
Swedes and use them as
you're
galley
fucking
slaves.
you're fucking Swedish. Get a bunch of bearded guys and just row. That's what Swedish people do. They row to other countries.
Canals. The bearded people, they're known as Muslims. Don't be racist now.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vikings, but yeah, bearded people are now known as Muslims in Nordic countries. It's kind of sad.
Anyways. Oh, would you look at this? Russian beat magnate who criticized Putin's war dies after hotel fall. We're going back to the good times of Russia, baby!
To the
In
absolute
Soviet
surprise
Russia,
of
the
no
floor
one
meets
involved.
you.
Yeah.
A Russian sausage magnate who briefly criticized Russia's invasion of Ukraine has died after falling from the third floor window of a luxury hotel in India. Pavel Antov was a member of Vladimir Putin's United Russia Party and a multimillionaire, having founded one of the country's largest sausage makers. He was reportedly on trip to celebrate his upcoming 66th birthday when he was found lying in a pool of blood outside the Hotel Sai International in Ragayada in the southern state of Odisha.
Welcome to the layer cake.
An unnamed police official told India's NDTV news outlet they suspected that he took his own life after becoming depressed about the death of his friend who was found dead in the same hotel.
Why would you even stay at that hotel?
Vladimir Bidinov was found unconscious in his hotel room on Thursday, surrounded by empty wine bottles. But anyways, this guy was the founder of Vladimir Standard, a major meat producer, and had a declared annual income of just under 130 million pounds or $232 million. And in July, he posted on WhatsApp that the missile attacks on Kiev as terrorism, and he was referring to the reports of a girl that had been pulled from rubble after her house had been shelled. But short. Oh, what's this? Another one. Lukoil boss whose company condemned Ukraine invasion found dead after hospital fall.
Fucking Vladimir Putin, man.
I mean, he
Starting
has
to like the guy.
he has a certain pattern.
It's like he reminds me of that Sacha Baron Cohen movie, The Dictator.
Yeah.
Like he's like he always like pats you in the back, and then he looks at the guard right next to you. And he's like he does like the neck cutting motion like every time. Yeah, now we're good. We go kill this motherfucker.
I mean, if you understand Russians, Vladimir Putin's decisions make perfect sense to you. I'm not defending them. I'm saying I understand. Like, he does exactly what I think he's going to do.
So this Alexei Adamkin, Russian's consul general in Calcutta, told the TASS news agency that there was no foul play in the lawmaker's death, allegedly.
Yeah, of course they're going to say that. Of course they are. I don't want to
'cause
fucking
they
die
want
of
to see
polonium poisoning.
They want to see their fucking family again. Just like that James Comey guy when he was going through Hillary Clinton's emails. Yeah, we found nothing in Hillary Clinton's email. They're perfectly clean. I want to see my kids again.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Before we go on the next article, let's go through a couple chats here. Another thing I noticed that normies have no idea who Andrew Tate was before this.
Yeah.
Greta's special yacht is made out of 6 tons of carbon fiber, according to an LCA report by Japanese Carbon Fiber Manufacturers Association. Carbon fiber production causes emissions of 20 tons of carbon dioxide per 1 ton of carbon fibers.
And here's a thing. This is the doubt that I always had. Like the United Nations, where she gave her speech, is not located at the pier. It's actually quite far from there, in my experience, because I've been there. So how did she transport herself from the pier to the United Nations building? Did
with
she
a
use a bicycle?
she had a convoy of SUVs, and you
She
know
had a
it.
fucking convoy of armored vehicles to
Yeah,
transport her.
absolutely.
So suck
There's
my
no
dick.
way she did it. That's like people kind of think that, dude, Greta Thunberg isn't just some girl. She's a globalist oligarch. She is like not just a child of privilege, man. She is royalty. Like
I mean, she is royalty, but I don't think she's actually the one pulling the strings. I think she's just being a useful idiot. You know?
no, she's too young, but like she's serving her purpose. Like
Yeah.
she does have a purpose. They are propping her up for a reason. Her family are well connected in a way that none of us ever will
No,
be.
absolutely. Like her mother is an opera singer. Her dad is an actor and director, and she is descendant from, I think, a Nobel Prize. I don't think if it's the guy who discovered dynamite, something like that. I don't know.
Well, that's Nobel, isn't it?
Yeah, Alfred
Nobel?
Nobel.
Alfred Nobel? Well, then I'm just being a fucking idiot, as it's normal in me. But yeah, I think she's related. Like she's connected. She comes from a wealthy family.
Yeah.
Ex-
So
Oh
I
shit!
guess Kanye West is missing.
He's a
According to
gift that
former
keeps on
business.
giving.
Yeah. I mean, midnight. We both watched the Medicare stream last night, right?
I don't remember if I went to bed around 10 or 11. What time did he end it? He ended it
I
at like
think
10 or
like
11. I think I
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean yes, I did. Is the short answer to that question.
But yeah, forget about Waldo. Where's
Oh,
Kanye?
Kanye, what are you doing to yourself, man? Like
At least that's what Ye's former business manager's acting. It seems that he has been in hiding since businessman Thomas St. John has been trying to serve him with legal documents. According to reports, the St. John said in a court hearing he has not been able to find the producer turned rapper turned fashion designer for weeks because he's suing him for breach of contract by claiming that Kanye West had agreed to pay him in a monthly retainer, but since the two had an aggressive meeting, West stopped paying him. I mean, they did have a good working relationship apparently, and the rapper asked him to be the chief financial officer of Donda, one of his businesses. And
um
with that position, he was going to get the St. John guy was going to get a retainer fee of $300,000.
he should have I mean Kanye should be downsizing immensely and accepting the fact that his money is largely gone. And he should be cutting out a lot of people from his life. Like maybe him thinking that he's going to get into politics is stupid because Kanye is relatively pretty stupid.
Unfortunately.
I
I
feel
mean,
bad
he's a
for him.
great lyricist, but
No, he isn't. He's a terrible lyricist. He's got the lyricism of an eighth grader. He's a great producer, but he's a terrible lyricist.
well, let's see. He needed a guarantee that West wouldn't abruptly abandon the commercial relationship, but then he offered to settle for a contract lasting for 18 months, the lawsuit read. But however, with Kanye's recent money troubles, is anyone shocked?
I mean, if
And
they
of
told me
course,
that Kanye is being held at a private prison by the Korean mafia and he spends his days just working out to get revenge on the people locked him up, I wouldn't be surprised. Dude,
Mm.
how crazy can things get?
There's little that I wouldn't believe when it comes to Kanye, honestly.
I'm fucking abducted by aliens or something.
Yeah, I'd believe that.
I was abducted by aliens. They show me the way and the truth. Let's see what else. They said that he has to pay Kim after the divorce. He's having problems with renovating his Malibu property, and he also had severed relationships from with Gap and Adidas. He went from 6.6 billion to maybe 400 million dollars.
Man,
That's a fucking drop.
Yeah, he should be shoring up and, like, again, getting the
Mm.
fuck away from people that are not in his camp. And I'm just saying this from a strategic perspective. You know, like, I think he has himself convinced that that money's coming back, and it isn't.
Yeah. But anyways, Ye's business manager's inability to find him is similar to the issues his former lawyers are having. Greenberg Trarig kind of echoes.
Is that a name?
Uh, I don't know. Has been trying to withdraw as Ye's counsel, but they have been struggling to locate him as they wanted to serve him with the notice via text message. So I guess Kanye is missing, but
He got stabbed in the back by a lot of people, and when that happens, the best thing, like, you got to get away from all those people, man.
guess what other famous black person had things to say about the chosen people?
Oh, Kyrie Irving. Oh, Whoopi. Yeah,
Oh,
she. But
shit.
Whoopi,
I-
I'm pretty sure she or her mother or both are converts. Like, I think she's Jewish.
Okay, we need to get through this one, and then we're gonna look at that Dax Tahira story. Okay, so Whoopi Goldberg slammed for new comments on Jews and race in the Holocaust. Deeply offensive and ignorant, says ADL CEO. Why the fuck does what does a non-profit group like the ADL need to have a CEO?
Makes you wonder. Huh?
Well, I mean, someone has to run the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that there is a CEO; it's what the CEO makes.
Okay. Let's see. Goldberg once again courted controversy after she was suspended from The View in February after saying the Holocaust was not about race.
I don't know why that's so controversial, and I have no idea why people feel the need to, like, play I'm so offended by that statement, whether or not it's true.
Yeah.
That was actually a point that I made when I was still, well, not running. I was like part of this anti-feminist, anti-PC page on Facebook, and I remember people would call you Nazi all the time, as you will know. And I was like, but Nazis didn't really like Nazis killed white people mostly. So why do you hate them so much? You hate white people, so you should be on their side. Because Jews, at least European Jews, are white race, are white subrace, like Caucasians or Slavs or Mediterraneans.
I mean, I kind of actually understand why they have the need to make such a big deal about what Goldberg said, but I don't think that it's very controversial. Is it accurate? There's an argument to be made.
Yeah. In an interview with the Sunday Times, Goldberg says that some Jewish people themselves are divided over whether they are a race or a religion. She also doubled down and said the Holocaust wasn't originally about race. My best friend said, not for nothing is there no box on the census for the Jewish race. So that leads me to believe that we are probably not a race, Goldberg says.
Notice she said we.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When the Times interviewer reminded Goldberg that Nazis saw Jews as a race, Goldberg responded, "Yes, but that's the killer, isn't it? The oppressors telling you what you are. Why are you believing them?" They are
I
Nazis.
understand.
You notice that as well. You notice that you realize that you are not, for example, CG because you declared yourself CG. You are CG because the mainstream comic book industry labeled you CG, and that marks you for extermination.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
One could argue that
Uh,
most German
why
Jews
believe?
were as
Yeah, let's
white
say
as the next guy. You know.
they're Nazis. Why believe what they're saying? It wasn't originally about race. Remember who they were killing first. They were not killing racial. They were killing physical. They were killing people they considered to be mentally defective, and then they made this decision.
I understand what she's trying to say. And like, again, she's not dismissing the victims at all. She's
Right.
attempting to define motivation. Like, people are programmed to respond to any kind of breach from the official narrative in a certain way, and it's ridiculous. Like, she's trying to make an intellectual point that is reasonable to consider.
Okay. So this Jonathan Greenblatt railed against Goldberg for her latest comments, saying that her comments about the Holocaust and race are deeply offensive and incredibly ignorant. When she made similar comments earlier this year, we explained how the Nazi regime was inherently racist. They also
She
show a
wasn't
complete
saying they weren't.
yeah. She also the comments also show a complete lack of awareness of the multi-ethnic, multiracial makeup of the Jewish community. Okay, then how why do you so do you agree with the treatment of the Ethiopian and
Ethiopians, yeah,
the Ethiopian Jews
I knew we were going to
cleaning
get
up
there.
like your trash and stuff?
Yeah.
Also, the Nazis had black soldiers in the Africa Corps.
Yep. And Muslim
Hmm.
and Asian.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that Nazis and Muslims had in common, that they were anti-Semite, anti-Semitic. I mean, that's no, they
And
actually got along. Like
No,
Hitler actually
yeah.
built like a residence for the Persian Shah. Like he got along with him well.
yeah. So apparently, Goldberg's original remarks emerged during a late January episode of The View, in which the co-host discussed a Tennessee school board's ban of Mouse, a nonfiction graphic novel about cartoonist Art Spiegelman's father's experience surviving the
Fucking
Holocaust.
imagine that. Can you imagine that? It's like the most simplistic anti-Nazi comic ever made. Like Nazis are cats, Jews are mice, and they banned it for what? For anti-Semitic? Like it's time to admit that you don't even know what context means, my dear Ford.
No. I actually read both the books, and I guess there's a part where they pick up a black guy who is depicted as a like a black Labrador, and the dad is just bitching about it the whole time.
I vaguely remember. I read Mouse in like
Maybe that's why.
1998.
But yeah, and she
So,
said,
it got banned because it showed the protected group behaving like the aggressive group, which is kind of part of the point that Spiegelman was trying to make, whether he realizes that or not anymore.
probably, I don't know, but she said, let's be truthful about it. It's because the Holocaust isn't about race, and of
And
course, it drew
Polo's
immediate
making a
sweeping criticism.
pretty good point about the Slavs in the comments. I mean,
Yep.
For example, the Nazis considered Slavs intellectually inferior and they were to be subjugated and made into second class citizens. I mean, lots of groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
gypsies.
I, I don't know, man. It's people look like people want to be offended because it is valuable. It is valuable to be offended.
And there's an entire industry of people like literally getting rich and famous and relevant just by being offended, and other people are just copying that. Oh, that's the thing. Like you get relevant and you get paid for bitching about stupid stuff. We're gonna do the same,
Well,
especially kids.
It's also stupid people having Pavlovian responses
Yeah.
to just word sounds that they don't understand. They heard trigger words and then they responded as programmed. It's
I can
pretty
totally
annoying
believe
to
that.
me.
I've seen
Oh.
there's an explosion. I'm pretty sure that's true too in the United States, but here in Spain, there's a massive explosion of teenagers and college age kids being offended by everything and just trying to find reasons to be offended in movies and TV shows and fucking comic books, like getting together and organizing, like they don't even know why they're doing it. I'm pretty sure that's because they've seen that it's the thing to do.
Well,
They've
they're
seen,
doing it to maintain in-group position.
yeah.
If it's kind of like I was at work one day. This is a long time ago when I worked retail, a long fucking time ago, and I don't remember what was said, but like the manager said something, and I said something like, "Oh, this fucking thing's crazy," and I could tell he looked around real quick to see if there were any people who may have heard me say the naughty word, which nobody did. If he had just kept his fucking mouth shut, everybody would have continued on with his day. Noticed that there were a couple of people in his peripheral vision, which means they saw him near me when they might have heard the naughty word. So he was motivated to go off on me out of fear that he would be associated with my naughty word and get in trouble. That's
Mhm.
what went on.
What that is like complicated as fuck.
It's not complicated though. It's just like seeing the steps in the decision making process. It's not really a decision making process. It's programming. That's how people react. They hear you say a naughty word. They look around to see if anybody else saw them see you hear their naughty word. And then they fear that those other people might associate you with their naughty word. And so you freak out of fear. It's very simple Pavlovian programming relative to in-group outgrouping.
All right. We have one last thing, and then we'll tie everything up. Okay, so a little bit of good news. Italy finds no new COOF variants among Chinese visitors so far.
All right, good job, Italy. Glad to hear it.
So, Giorgia Meloni demands EU-wide testing of arrivals from China despite encouraging early results. Oh, snap. I remember which one it was. Hold on. I totally forgot. We'll just touch upon the COVID and then to the other one. There's no new sign of a new COVID-19 variant so far when passengers arriving in Italy from China in recent days. And she calls for a new EU-wide testing regime to guard against the threat of a resurgent coronavirus. On Wednesday, Italy became the first European country to introduce mandatory virus testing for people arriving from China. Beijing's decision to lift lockdown policies earlier this month triggered a surge in cases, spurring concerns around the world that a dangerous new variant could emerge. I mean, it's still early, so
Dangerous new variant, my dick hole.
but yeah, what about this about China
What about it?
opening its borders?
I mean,
You mean letting
I'm glad for the Chinese because they may stop living in a full nightmare fuel country and just go back to their old moderately nightmarish country that it was.
Yeah, that's not going to
They-
happen
they-
anytime soon.
Let's see. At a press conference in Rome on Thursday, Meloni said genomic sequencing of the positive cases arriving in Milan's airport since last week has shown only the Omicron variant. And she says that authorities in Lombardy have been sequencing the virus because we need to know if what is arriving is something we have already seen and so covered by vaccines or not. Of 30 cases we are sequencing, the first 15 are all Omicron, which is already present in Italy. So for right now, it's quite reassuring.
I don't like that talk about covered by vaccines or not that Meloni is spouting. I thought she was
Hmm.
over that. I'm not gonna say that she should go full anti-vax. I'm just saying that she should know. She should know better after what we've
Everyone,
heard about vaccines.
everyone should always be full anti-Pfizer.
Yep. I mean, it
Let's
was in the
see.
fucking European Union that the Pfizer representative admitted that the vaccines were never tested for stopping transmission, for transmission stoppage. Sorry.
You're not
Let's
allowed to say
see.
that. You're not allowed to notice.
Maloney said that government has asked the EU for a bloc-wide response on mandatory testing. Otherwise, she feared Italy's testing policy risked being ineffective. On China, we have taken immediate action, but this measure may not be completely effective unless it is taken by the whole EU, because we can do it for direct flights, but not those with the transit. And Italian Health Minister Orazio Schillaci said that the low use and efficacy of vaccines have helped create ideal conditions for a new wave of infections in China. There are few vaccinations in China, poor level of protection of the vaccines used, and few doses.
It's
Omicron
funny how
until
you're allowed. It's funny how you're allowed to question the efficacy of Chinese vaccines, huh?
Hmm.
but not
Hmm.
Pfizer or
Pfizer, yeah, those are
Moderna.
fucking great, but Chinese vaccines, not so much.
Yeah, blah blah, and few doses Omicron until recently circulated little with low hybrid immunity. Then this autumn came the perfect storm. Okay, so who? All right, so last story. Who remembers the reporter, the ABC reporter who just suddenly up and had a heart attack at the age of what, 37?
Oh yeah,
I do. Wait. Which one? Ha 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 ha.
I remember a producer that had a. Yeah, recently I
It
heard
keeps
about that
happening.
person. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Well, you would not believe. Dexter Harris' wife arrested on child endangerment charges hours after ABC News producer died, NYPD says.
So she got loaded and had a nutty.
Let's find out. Uh, ABC News executive producer Dax Teher's wife was arrested on 2 charges of child endangerment in the hours following his death on December 23rd, a spokesman from the
in
NYPD
the
told
hours.
Variety.
Okay.
Veronica Teher was booked on 2 counts of acting in a manner injurious to a child after her 37-year-old husband's fatal heart attack last week, according to a police statement. While a specific timeline is unclear, the spokesperson said police responded to a 911 call at 11 p.m. that evening, reported unattended children at 50 Vanderbilt Avenue in Manhattan. The address houses the Yale Club, a members only hotel. Police say a preliminary investigation revealed that a 2-year-old female and a 5-month-old female were left alone inside of a hotel room for an extended period of time. And
So
Veronica and Dax Tehera shared the 2 children. Coincidentally, a 5-month-old girl and a 2-year-old girl.
wait a second. Are you insinuating what I think you're insinuating?
Let's see. The Teheras reside in Chevy Chase, Maryland. Variety attempted to reach Veronica through numerous channels, but she did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And Dax was the executive producer on This Week with George Stephanopoulos.
Oh, that's interesting.
But yeah,
It sounds.
Veronica was handed a desk ticket appearance after her arrest. A desk ticket requires a person to appear in criminal court at an undisclosed future date.
It sounds like she was out getting loaded.
That's
Where did
one
she?
Maybe
way to celebrate your husband's life.
Well, I mean, her husband dies. She's all fucked up. She gets loaded to deal with it. Where was the hotel she left her kids in?
Um, 50 Vanderbilt Avenue in Manhattan, and that address houses the Yale Club, a members-only hotel.
Wait, is that the hotel she left them at, or was she at, or is that where they lived? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, was she staying at a hotel in Manhattan when they had a perfectly good condo in Manhattan?
No, it says that they lived in Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, sorry. That detail slipped my mind, even though I heard you say it. Okay, good. Continue.
Yeah. So they were at a members-only hotel, yet they lived in Chevy Chase.
Yeah, it sounds like she was getting loaded out of grief.
Yeah, I guess that's all. His death was announced internally at ABC News on December 24th by the division president Kim Godwin, who noted his energy, passion, and love for his work.
You know what happens eventually? Like, so think about this. Let's say that it gets definitively proven that the boof caused this guy's death. The guy most likely got the boof because he was told by his bosses, if you want to continue working, you need to take the boof, which means that I know that that would make his bosses like civically, if not criminally, liable for his death. This guy's that would probably put them on the hook for a few million, right?
Yep.
Now multiply that by thousands.
Ooh.
Yep. But there's several thousand that have died just in the U.S.
There is a reason why they are doing everything they can to dissociate these deaths from the boof, and themselves from forcing people to get the boof to keep their job.
I know, that's a huge conspiracy.
You mean a
But you know
conspiracy
what
theory?
but you know what they say about conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no conspiracy theory about employers saying get the shot or don't come to work, and like that's documented. I've had people. There's a reason why I'm not in show business anymore. Yeah.
Well, anyways, that's it for today. So, what's everyone's plans for the week?
Well, I will be traveling to Madrid this weekend just to chillax because I've taken 2 weeks off the gym, and hopefully this time I won't become trapped there with a sickly, almost half dead mother and a
Oof.
snowstorm like it happened to me in fucking UK, London. I don't know if I ever told you about that midnight, but it was yeah, it was
I
fun.
was I was catching the updates, man. So, what happened?
Well, we were gonna travel back to Spain. We went to London because we hadn't been there since like the Coof Booth and all that. Fuck, give me a second. That's Chimera.
Tell him to go fuck off.
That's
Yeah.
actually what I'm gonna do. Give me a second. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Pronto.
Fuck off. They're done. Yeah, as I was saying, yeah, we traveled to London because it had been a while because we were finally able to go inside the country without the vaccine pass and all that. And my mom got sick the very first day. She started coughing and shit, and I was like, okay, she got the cold, maybe even the cough. So that already ruined my fucking vacation. And then we were gonna travel back to Spain on Sunday and then cancel the flight. Apparently, because of a snowstorm, later on we discovered that it was due to strikes. But yeah, we basically left stranded in the UK for 3 days. I had to carry like my half comatose mother around while trying to find a hotel that wasn't overbooked because we weren't the only ones abandoned, in just fucking stranded in the UK. Like thousands of tourists had the same problem.
And they were saying it was due to the weather so that they could get out of putting you up at a hotel because if
Basically,
it's for
basically,
yep.
basically. I mean, they actually sent us an email telling us that they will like floor the bill if the bill wasn't too expensive, which is bullshit because in London everything is expensive. But anyway, I was able to secure a room in Chelsea. The problem is they only had one bed, so I had to sleep with my aging, obese, eternally coughing mother for 3 days. Yeah, it was. I wanted to fucking die. But yeah, finally got a ticket back to Spain and done. But just pretty fucking worst vacation ever, man.
Did they ultimately cover the bill?
They say they were gonna. We're still waiting for them to acknowledge that.
Oh, so you guys had to pay it
Yeah, no,
and
we
hope
had to
that
like
they'll
we actually
reimburse you.
collected all the receipts. We made like a pretty accurate calculation of all the money we spent in those 3 days that we were planning on spending anything. And yeah, the travel agency has contacted the flight agency. We're still waiting to see what happens. Well, we'll probably
Ridiculous.
we'll probably will have to get lawyers involved in shit at some point. It's always like that.
What airline
Nice.
is it?
Welling. Yeah, never fly with Welling. Those are assholes.
Welling.
It's like
I've never even
Wel-
heard of them.
it's like Spanish Ryanair. It's like a budget flight company.
Crap.
Basically, yeah. So it was like a mixture of a Franz Kafka and Charles Dickens story,
Sounds awful. So
Yeah,
it
it
sounds
was.
like
Yeah.
planes, trains, and
Terrible.
automobiles without any of the fun.
Yeah, it basically was. My mom actually looks a bit like John Candy.
Oh,
Aw.
I'm just kidding, mom. I love you.
well, you look nothing like
Some-
Steve Martin.
I know. I look more like a buff. What's his name? Who played Doctor Octopus in the Spider-Man movies.
Alfred Molina.
Yeah, I look like a
Also,
buff Alfred Molina. There you go.
you also look like John Candy, fat man.
I'm not as fat as John Candy. I'm fat, but not as John Candy.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel like Tony Soprano
He's
fat. How's that? I'm
he's
Tony
he's
Soprano.
chunky. He's chunky. He's not fat. He's chunky now.
I don't look like a Canadian who eats too much poutine. I look like an Italian who eats too much spaghetti. Because he lives with his mom, and his mom won't stop feeding him spaghetti.
You got to eat.
Hi, mom, I told you no more spaghetti. And look at me, I'm getting fat.
No, you are not fat. You are skinny.
I'm
All the
actually
kids on the
thinking
show,
the-
they're gonna make fun of me.
Oh yeah, Polo Costa has a point. Welling is complete shit, even for a simple flight from Barajas to Malaga. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Welling is fucking shit.
And then he also says that there are new Chinese variants because with their lockdowns they haven't interacted much, but this also prevents the coup from becoming endemic like it did in the West.
'Cause I still remember when the media praised China's response to COVID. They were doing so well. Remember that?
Yo, well, I was talking. So when they started welding people into their houses, I was like, that's got to be bullshit. Because I guarantee you, man, if you put me in a room with as little as a shim, I will get the fuck out of that room. I've always wanted to do an escape room, but I can't do an escape room because I will go full stagehand mode on that shit, and I will take shit apart and get out. I won't get out of the room the way they want me to, but I will get out of that fucking room.
And
Oh,
then
Involved in a
and
fight
then
with security.
then I can also see you being the guy who like when they have like little drones flying about saying, "Stay inside, make peace, blah blah blah, curb your
I'll
freedom."
net that shit and reprogram it.
Yeah,
You will write it. You will write it like the Green Goblin, won't you?
Something like that. I already know how to beat the drone like dog things. You got to get you throw a whole bunch of WD-40 at them.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that is.
Oil in circuitry does not go well, and oil in electronics does not go well.
Okay.
And then they got this stuff called Great Stuff Foam. It's like it's expanding foam in a can.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, you fill up their joints with that shit, and it will corrode them from the inside and make it impossible. It'll muck up the insides. Those two items you can get at Home Depot for like $40 total.
Can you just like throw a rock at them or something?
I'm sure they'll be fine with rocks.
I'm a country boy. I need simple solutions here.
Well, I just gave you one. Oil.
I
Like you just have to scrape your skin on them, and you're fine.
Oh, all right. They just want to throw rocks at shit.
Based caveman canalis.
Yeah.
Anga, motherfuckers.
One day he's gonna come over, knock me over the head with a club, and drag me away by my hair.
All right. I don't want.
All
I don't
right,
want to hear
Midnight, what is
pages
that
from
plan?
Midnight is horrified. He doesn't want to listen to the details.
breaking my balls to finish this GFX cut, man. I am currently at the moment animating cyberpunk motorcycles, cyberpunk police car, and a cyberpunk tractor trailer truck.
Cool.
I just figured out how to cheat the lens flare system in VSDC because I wasn't getting. I spent about 4 hours figuring that shit out. And then regular work week. Just that's it. That's what I got going on.
What about you, Omega?
And
Well, I mean, I finally do
tell us
finish all like.
about your
Mhm.
tell us
Well-
about your New Year's.
How I celebrate it or what I'm gonna do.
Both.
Family reunion, a shit ton of food. I actually went to eat again with my family today.
What y'all stuff in your face?
Shit ton of spaghetti, turkey, potato, how's it called? Pure papa.
Sounds pretty good.
Damn.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
But
I have 1 week of vacations.
how was your New Year's? What did you do?
Work.
Ooh.
You work with the patients?
No, I was doing commissions. I finished
Oh,
all
yeah.
my fucking commissions. All of them.
Nice.
I was half hoping you would say that you rode a 4x4 with your friends shooting at the sky with your 6 shooters and going
No.
like andale, because that's how you celebrate stuff in Mexico.
How many commissions in total did you have
Or
chambered?
shooting up.
Right now, I have 5, but I told this person that I was gonna take 1 week break and then I will do it.
How many did you clear out though? Like how many did you have in the chamber that you cleared out?
Like 50, if
Holy
not
shit.
Whoa.
That's great. That's fantastic, dude.
more. Yeah.
All right. Now that we got everything out of the way, let's say our goodbyes. Goodbye.
Adios.
Adios.
Good evening. Good night. Everyone have a nice night.
Yeah.